Hello, everyone. This is Rob Van Bergen from Pain Free for Life, and welcome to another Monday 10-minute training. Today, we're going to be talking about electrical sensitivity and situations in which people just aren't getting better and how to clear those issues with microcurrent. Now, EMFs, or electromagnetic fields, are a series of invisible energy wavelengths given off by all the electronics around us. And these bog down our cells in our body, right? So you got to think about it like it sort of makes the cells drunk. They slow down, they clump up. Sometimes they just flat out start working. And this is all under the pressure of all of these high EMFs. And we've seen patients before who simply could not get relief. Find relief by starting to protect themselves from EMFs using our Flow EMF protection products, which convert the harmful waveforms in the body-friendly waveforms into body-friendly waveforms, right? So, for example, right now in front of me, I have a laptop with a microphone, with a webcam, with a huge studio light over there, and a heater, and all of these things. And all of these things are giving off harmful EMFs. My cell phone right here, giving off harmful EMFs. And so to my body, that is like being bombarded, right? And so the cells stop functioning as effectively. So in the case of the Flow products, what they do is they take the frequency, like a radio antenna, and they vibrate and they change it. So they're actually providing you with an alternative frequency for your body to listen to that is body friendly. But we're not really here to talk about Flow products. I'm actually here because I want to talk about how microcurrent can help with this electrical sensitivity, because many people that experience electromagnetic sensitivity will find that microcurrent could be challenging to use at first, or they may need to stay away from some of the higher frequencies. And so in that case, we have some protocols that are simple, that kind of accustom your body to the microcurrent and enable you to be able to use it. So if you do want to know more about the Flow products, I have a link in the description of this video. If not, stay tuned for the microcurrent part. So as I mentioned, everything in your body is being bombarded, but what is being bombarded the most is almost definitely the thyroid. This is your little organ in your neck here that regulates hormones and plays a huge role in our metabolism and our body's ability to grow. Now, this is very easily thrown out of whack by EMF saturation. It seems to almost act like a sponge for the EMFs. It like soaks them up, but then we don't have any way to wring it out, right? So we got no way to clear it out. So symptoms of EMF saturation. So if any of these symptoms sound like you and you're not able to get rid of them, you may have EMF saturation. Headaches, skin issues, musculoskeletal pain, sleep disorders, mood issues, dizziness, memory difficulties, fatigue, trouble concentrating, feeling hot in the face. Now, as well, perhaps most troubling to me, from my perspective, is the inability to resolve any pain, issue, or disease. So if you are doing everything right, you feel normal, maybe you have a little bit of mood issues, or you've got some mild eczema or anything like that. Fatigue is probably one of the most common ones. And you're trying to resolve your chronic pain and nothing is working. Then this could be due to these cells being so drunk that they're unable to replicate and repair. They can't figure out what to do because they're just bumping into each other and no one's doing their job. So how do we fix it? So there are two microcurrent protocols that seem to work really well. And luckily for everyone involved, they're really easy to do. So number one is grounding. So if you've listened before to the mitochondrial recharge protocol video, this is sort of charging up your cells. It's giving them energy. If you're doing this, then most people that are electrically sensitive might find that doing mitochondrial recharge gives them too much energy, makes them feel wired, kind of a little buzzed. And in that case, the grounding protocol is kind of the opposite of that. So grounding is, in essence, what we get when we would walk in nature, barefoot in the forest, no electronics around us whatsoever. And we're absorbing all of the natural energy of the world, of the earth, into our person. and our cells thrive on that. So typically people think about the Schumann resonances when they think of grounding, but what you got to realize is the Schumann resonances, much of them are artificial, if based on what we've created in the world. If you actually want the waves coming out of the ground, it is alpha. It is 7 to 12 hertz. I actually think it's right around 8 hertz specifically. This is why we switched the grounding protocol away from 783 harmonics and switched it to 7 to 12 hertz, because anything above the earth is kind of generated, and this is evidenced by the Schumann waves changing over time, right? It's kind of generated by what we as humans are doing. So really, like laying flat on the forest floor, 7 to 12 hertz. So what we do to try and do a full body simulation that way is we'll put pads on your hands and your feet, right? So on the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. And we would run 7 to 12 hertz for 20 to 30 minutes. It doesn't have to be a huge amount of time. What that does is it feeds your cells those natural, non-harmful, totally like perfectly safe for your body EMFs, or electromagnetic frequencies, right? So it's putting the frequency in there to make sure that the cells can optimally function. Okay, so this can really help combat city living and the effects that this can have on our health. So if you live in a big city where there's not really any nature around or anything like that, you know, you're going to have a lot harder time getting the Schumann waves that you want, especially if you live kind of on a top floor of a building, right? You're further away from the earth. So grounding can be great for this. So if you feel that you might be electromagnetically sensitive, then grounding is probably the #1 treatment to get started with. And you can do that with the Evolution or the Pro Sport. Both of them have that program in it. Now, as for #2, the second protocol, this can really be done with any of our devices, and this is discharging the thyroid. Now, you have heard it said to always avoid the thyroid. Anyone that's in any of our training videos, anyone that's read the books, when doing a protocol like Pirogov's ring, where we sweep the neck, we always dodge the thyroid. So we're going along here, and then we kind of try and ride up under the chin, and then we get back to the neck again as we pass it. And this is because the thyroid is super easy to kind of knock out. And we don't want to do that, right? So we're still saying avoid the thyroid. But on the back of our bodies, we have our C7, which is almost directly parallel to the thyroid's position. And this area here can get a lot of electrical buildup too. This is a safe spot to treat. So what we actually suggest doing is grabbing your device, going to any mode that can dose in 0, though I prefer 60 hertz or relax assess if you can, and placing the electrode. I've just got a Y probe here. It's been sitting in my lap the whole time. I would just place that right on the back on C7. And if you're trying to find out what your C7 is, if you bend over, chin to chest, it's sort of right where that big bump is on the back of your neck. You can feel down there, and you can find the bump. You can put it there, and you can hold it. And you want to go for a dose and then a 0. Now, what this will actually do is it will kind of just discharge the buildup and bring the body's attention to the area. And so since that's part of one of our pathways that controls everything, this area being bogged down is going to really block communication, right? Because this is where the electrical signals have to pass through to command our bodies. Okay, so you can perform each of these protocols daily if you wish, but remember that without protection, your cells are still going to be exposed to these EMFs on a daily basis. So you'll be constantly, just getting rid of the things and then getting resaturated with them again. So do consider that protecting yourself from EMFs, especially if you live in a city, would be a good idea. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions about the protocols we discussed today, EMFs or anything else, drop them in the comments below. Otherwise, I will hopefully be able to do one next week for another Monday training at 12 o'clock Pacific time. So I hope that you will join me then. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.